15th, Friday, and welcome to your weekly roundup. Let's look. All right, so let's look at some of the stocks that we mentioned on Sunday. That includes Oscar and Tim, which is Tempest AI. We'll have our correspondent, Benji Frenzy, take care of those. We got Bagel Budget. Let's do it. So,
All right, so we got the weekly recap, Mathematics 101. So first stock pick that we had was Tim. So Tim actually ended up exceeding expectations on this one. So shout out to Lil Benji for the call out. So overall, we caught this big weekly candle, starting opening about Monday at about $60. This week closed at 73.7. So exceeded expectations. I think I had TP1 at 64, TP2 at 68, and TP3 was right below this resistance line at about 70. So, and yeah, now we're at 73. So let's really break it down and why we got in and exactly what happened. So you can see we're consistent on this uptrend, right? And it got this critical support zone between 52 and 53. So pretty much after we got this pullback into this area,
and then we'll also look at, I talked about apps, so we'll just look at where apps at right now.
Signal that,
and then we'll talk about some other stuff that happened this week in the market. Super important, right? It's important to understand why we bring these things up or why we even start something like this. And it's because as a trader, just so we can get that one out of the way, if you trade, you need to be able to stay informed.
Once we got this pullback,
so you can make the right decision.
50 MA,
so app, you can see on your screen, in my opinion, see an inverted head and shoulders. If I was to chart
Monday
this,
we got a little bit of a scare. It pushed up to 64 or so, and then projected down.
All right, so this week it came and touched. All right, so yeah, Amazon had called 25. Amazon is currently 230, so the hell probably wants to go back to that. But beautiful setup, but probably you see here. Again, we are on the weekly because we're there in the last candle, right? So
gave us a little bit of
called on Amazon based on this previous candle. Boom, put a card all the way up. Beautiful setup, beautiful play. Right, so this is what the next this week.
This is where I took profit actually. But
pair that with what you needed to based on Friday.
We pushed up,
let's
opened 65, went all the way to almost touch this resistance line at 72. Next, we then opened again at the bottom, which is crazy. A lot of volatility. If you know about Tim is a big mover when it moves. Like this was a big week that it moved, right? So when it moves, that thing moves. But overall, yeah, it is a little volatile. So yeah, I mean, you can see even after we got that bull, we closed way down at about 66, 67. And then we pushed up again, respected this resistance line at 72. And then Friday, which is today, we actually pushed up and got the close above. So great call out here. A lot of money was made. I think I was in the 64 calls. So yeah, way in profit, way in the money. Great call out on Tim.
Let's take this out. You see, you always really want to start on a higher time frame. Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna want to. Every time it's come into the zone, it's always broke to the top of the zone. Come into the zone, broke to the top of the zone, coming to the zone, broke to the top of the zone. So when you see that, you're like, okay, well, I know what it's going to do. It's probably not going to want to stay in here. And then I probably want to do anything above this line. We'll probably get some resistance here. So past this is calls, past this is puts. But I still think it's calls because look at that gap. This is on the monthly. Let's look at this on the weekly. Whee! You gotta learn how to manage your graphs. Rule 1, day 1, manage your graphs. So yeah, so what I think about is this. All right, if this is the line, how much time is spent above this line? Well, I would say probably 30%, right? If you split this in thirds. So it still has a pretty decent pull on where price is. And notice how price isn't necessarily below this 37, right? So definitely a lot of upside that way. If you want to kind of zoom in a little bit more, right, you can see stupid gap down from 92 to 40, and now it's made 100% back at 70 and some change, right? So almost back to 90. I know we'll likely try to test those highs again. And if not, we'll likely make a little U right here through earnings, and through their next earnings, excuse me, and then push through past 100. Yeah, I like this stock as a company. Yeah, but that's just me. Cool. We're still rocking and rolling. Perfect, beautiful. All right. Yeah, let's take a look at SPY for sure. SPY. So I was looking at SPY towards the beginning of the week. I was like, it's definitely gonna want to go and kiss 645, and lo and behold, on Thursday, that's exactly what it did. All right, let's open this up on the H4. All right, or on Friday. This was today. Look where it is. So of course, SPY we all know is gonna keep going up. So look what we see here. We saw push up. Now we're getting that distribution, and we're looking to likely push at 50 by the end of the year, or at least by the end of August for sure. Yeah, so when SPY moves like this, you have to understand, hey, how can I position myself? The goal is to not trade, right? The goal is to not trade. So how can I position myself to where I have enough time? I can afford a contract that has enough time in the market to make the move that I'm looking for. You know, cool. But yeah, I say, so of course, SPY we all know is going to keep going up. So look what we see here. We saw push up. Now we're getting that distribution, and we're looking to likely push at 50 by the end of the year, or at least by the end of August for sure. Yeah, so when SPY moves like this, you have to understand, hey, how can I position myself? The goal is to not trade, right? The goal is to not trade. So how can I position myself to where I have enough time? I can afford a contract that has enough time in the market to make the move that I'm looking for. You know, cool. But yeah, I say one right here, 38. And we'll probably won't see anything past that. This is the zone. If it stays above this, we'll probably shoot. If not, we might consolidate in this zone and then come down. But that likely won't happen. We're probably looking towards we're looking forward to the holiday rush, right? It might come a little early this year. Last year it came pretty early. So definitely looking for the holiday rush here. Probably through maybe 60, 80, right? Last year we're around 580. This year it got inflation, tons of inflation. So we'll see. All right, cool. Sneak peek next week. Oh no. Also, what else happened this week? Bitcoin 118. Let's talk about it. Well, every time Bitcoin or any asset hits an all-time high, people who have been holding for a long time are going to take profit, right? So you guys can see my screen here. Cool. This is Bitcoin on the H4. You really don't want to look at Bitcoin on a smaller time frame. You really want to look at them on just like a weekly chart, right? Cool. And that's just because, again, like, you have to understand what you're looking at, right? Full time frame continuity is super important, because you could be right on the play, but your play has to match what you're actually playing, right? Because if your play is on the 4 hour time frame, you can't put out it's impossible to try to put a contract out that's super far away, right? That doesn't really make the most sense. In that situation, you'll probably make more being a little bit riskier with the closer contract expiration, so that it matches the time frame that you're looking at. So yeah, so Bitcoin came through, inverted head and shoulders, some resistance here at 119, came and touched 124 this week. Bing, beautiful. Let's go down to the daily just so that you can see what happens day over day. And then when you do it like this, it makes a lot of sense, right? Boom, came to the top of the zone, tested. So yeah, I can definitely see Bitcoin coming down to 110, just to hang out here for a little bit before gearing up, right? Break and retest. It could